Student, please keep your camera on. Once you join, please keep your camera on. Please keep your camera on. Students, please keep your camera on. Srishti, Isha, Sarthak, Jessica. Nishant, Priyansi, Niharika, Srishti, please keep your camera on. Abhishek? Yeah. Sarthak, Niharika, Gitika. Gitika, please keep your camera on. Niharika. Tarushi, Ruchika, Manisha, Akshita, please keep your camera on. Akshita, Ruchika, Tarushi, Prithviraj Singh, please put your camera on. Students, please keep your camera on. I have to say again and again. Akshita, Ruchika, Sarthak, Tarushi, please put your camera on. Everyone, please keep your camera on. Now because it's 2 p.m. already, so we start now. Everyone, Sarthak, Ruchika, Tarushi, Ganesh, Shambhavi, Akshita, please put your camera on. It not look good every time. Again and again, I am giving instruction that you please keep camera on. Now I am asking Madam Mail to start the lecture. So please everyone keep the camera on during the whole session of this 2 hours. Then only it is look interactive and then it become more interesting. Because we can able to see your reaction for each and every instruction given by Judge Mail. So then it is become more live and interesting. So now over to Judge Mail, Madam.
Thank you
And
very much. Thank you. Hello to everyone. I am here in Bosnia teaching you today. It's a little different than where you are, weather-wise in a lot of ways, but it is, I'll go back to gallery. It is good to see you all. It's too bad we're not in the same classroom and can talk directly. This is remote teaching is not as good as being in person, but it's the best thing we can do right now. So I'm happy to be with you for the next number of classes. And I want to talk a little bit about what the class is about before we go further. And it is about advocacy, which is so much about communication. You know, as a lawyer, and I've looked through all the materials that you provided about what you want to do in your future as a lawyer, if you go on into law, and it's a wide variety: litigation, judiciary, become an advocate, corporate attorney, insolvency, criminal, human rights, large firm, small firm. You have a wide variety of options here and goals, and they're all very good. But no matter what you're doing, even if you choose to go into politics or business or something that's not directly law, your advocacy is going to be very important. Your communication skills. Can people understand you? Do they understand what you're asking for or what you're seeking or what you're, or that you understand them? Communication is very important. As a lawyer, you have to study for years and years and years, and you learn on the job for quite a bit of your career. But what you learn is only good if you can use it, if you can communicate it, so that you can communicate the interest of your clients, whoever they may be, and help them in the legal system. That's what we're here for, all of us. But communication is the key. That's your best tool is how you speak and how you write. Two tools are the main tools of an advocate, anyone in the justice system: how you speak and how you write. We're not going to deal with writing in this course because it's a shortened course. So we're going to deal primarily with speaking skills and apply them to certain legal aspects of litigation. Now, a lot of you wanted to be litigators. It's a great field to go into. But again, my background as a litigator, a prosecutor for 10 years and a judge for 23 years, I can tell you that there are a lot of attorneys who are very smart, very clever, but they can't communicate well, and it really hurts their ability to do their job for themselves and for their clients. And I honestly didn't know how bad it was until I sat all day listening to 50 cases a day and seeing the wide range of communication skills in the bar. It's quite amazing. I'd say honestly, about 2 or 3 out of 10 attorneys are good at communication. And those attorneys are much more effective, much more successful in their practices, no matter what the practice is. They can communicate. They have a skill that's pretty unique in our field, and it shouldn't be. It's such a primary goal to communicate that we really need to be able to do so. So focusing on it, I'm glad that you're all interested in focusing on it because it will help you in the future. It's not something that is impossible to learn. It's a skill we all learn. It's not easy to learn, but it's a skill we can all learn, and we can all improve our communication skills. So it's going to be an interactive course, which is really hard when we can't get in touch with each other directly, but we're going to do the best we can with interaction. And a skill building course. I'm not here to lecture. I'm not here to have you basically sit back and rest your eyes and think about maybe what I'm talking about for hours on end. That's not what we're going to do. You're going to be talking. You're going to be standing in front of this class remotely and giving speeches. You're going to be doing cross-examinations and opening statements and closing statements. You're going to be doing them. And we as a group are going to help each other get better at it. We'll look at some of the basics that help us be a good communicator. We'll try and apply those basics to every time we have to talk in the class. And then as a class, we're going to, it looks like we have somebody that needs to be admitted to the class. As a class, we're going to critique each other, and we're going to give positive feedback to how you're doing. In the beginning, it's a little rough for everybody. You're nervous, you're anxious. Getting up in front of a class is hard, or in front of making a speech in a larger group. But as you do it, you get better and better at it. And you learn basic skills and basic ways to control your anxiety, to control your fear of being a speaker and being so in front of a group. But we'll get there by practice, practice, practice. So I have introduced this course to 6 different law schools in Bosnia, and they are all using this course right now, and I'm working with them. And the students have a great regard for the course so far. They found it very, very helpful in going into job interviews and presenting themselves in class, and working in an office. If they have an internship, they're finding that it's helping them prior to graduation and after graduation. So I hope that's your take on the course as well. Now, just a little bit about me. We're going to get to know each other, but first I'll tell you a little bit about me. As I said, I was a prosecutor for 10 years. Right out of law school, that was what I did, and I did it for 10 years. And I love the work. It's great work. I work primarily with what I call communities that are more at risk than others. Domestic violence victims, children victims, elderly victims, victims who are disabled and unable to care for themselves or protect themselves, defend themselves. So these victims are a very interesting class of victims to me, because they certainly need our protection. And it's very gratifying work, makes you feel really good when you work on that type of case. Then I became a judge in Wisconsin and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin. And in what would be a small town in India. It was about 1.5 million people in our community that I was a judge in. And we had 40 courts running in that court system. And we handled everything from the smallest things, and we didn't do parking tickets, but small traffic actions, all the way up to homicide and millions of dollars in civil losses. So we handled everything, and you got a big picture of what was going on in the community. It's an interesting way to see your community and understand your community better. And I did that for 22 years. And while I was doing that, I also became a judicial educator for our judges around the whole state of Wisconsin and around the United States. And then I came to Bosnia as a judge, visiting as a Fulbright scholar here in Bosnia and working with the law school in Sarajevo. And I also teach judges, prosecutors, police. I like to work with the system of justice, all the way from the streets, all the way to the Supreme Court, working and seeing that what we're trying to do actually goes through the process well, and we can have an effective justice system. And that's what I work with here. I've been to NERMA. I don't know if I've met some of you. There's so many new faces here, I can't tell, but I have been there for the last 3 years, I think, and teaching for the February courses where the international teachers come in. And I love the place, I love the students and the school. And I'm sorry that we're doing things this way this year, but this has to be done, except for everybody's good. So I have, if anybody has any question about the course at this point, do you have any course questions? I can ask them, I can answer them. But you should know you're going to work hard. You're going to be in the limelight. You're going to be up and center in front of all of us. And you're going to have homework, and you're going to be working together on several projects. So there are a lot of demands on you, and I hope we can work that out with all the rest of your schedule. But it is very, very important that you be here for every single class, because every class builds on the last one. And if you come in, we don't have time to help you catch up. So we need you here. And it is an important part of your grade. So if you have the syllabus or the outline, you know there's participation and attendance is part of your grade, your group activities that we'll be doing, and also what I call in the news. If there's anything that comes up in your life in terms of in politics or in the court or in the newspaper or in your personal life that has to do with a litigation issue, you can bring that up and we can talk about it. I'd like to know what you're thinking of in litigation issues as we go through the course so that we can discuss and answer your questions about particular things. So feel free to talk up when you have a question and let me know. Now, you know that from the beginning, from the outline, that one of the things that you are doing today is talking to me. And this is your first talk to me and to the rest of the class. You're going to talk to us about who you are. You maybe know each other, you may not know each other. It's hard for me to know. So you will talk to us and give us your introduction to who you are, however you want to do that, and why it is that you're in law school. I know you wrote a little bit about why you're in law school, but you can give me a little more, and the rest of us, a little more information. Why do you want to be in corporate? Why do you want to go to the judiciary? Why do you want to be an advocate? And we'll get to know you a little bit. And you'll get a chance to start the long series of standing up. You can't stand if you want, or you can sit here, but being in front of people and talking. So if everyone's ready for that, do we have any volunteer that wants to go first? Or do I have to call on people? Raise your hand if you're a volunteer. Nobody's volunteering. Okay, then I'm going to call on people, but you know I'm not going to be very good with your names. So I'm going to start with Tarushi Agrawal. Did I say it anything right? Are you here?
Yeah, yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, can you turn on your so that we can see you?
Ma'am, I'm facing lot of internet issues.
Okay, you mean you're afraid you'll lose the contact if you go with the camera?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so why don't you then just talk to us? We'll let you not worry about that.
Okay, ma'am, just a minute. Okay, so I'm Tarushi Agrawal from 8th semester, and I wanted to become a litigating lawyer because I love the way the lawyers have their charisma, and I want to fight for people and do justice.
Tell us a little more about who you are, your family, your background, anything you want to tell us. You have 2 minutes.
Okay.
You know?
So I'm from Jaipur, Rajasthan, and I come from a family of 5. I have my mother and father and three. We are three siblings. One is one sister is elder to me, and one sister is younger to me. I'm the middle child. Also, side by side, I am volunteering for many NGOs because I love doing social work. Plus, I am good at dancing. I used to dance very well during my school days, and I don't know what else I'm supposed to say.
Tell us about the NGOs that you've worked with.
NGOs, I've worked with Vishakha. It's in Jaipur. It helps women, like making women aware about their rights. Also, I've worked with Prayas, where I taught students of 11th, 12th their accounts and business studies. Further, I worked with Faith. It's an Ahmedabad based NGO where also we help students of primary school to get to know their subjects well and to pass their exams. And after that, I've been doing some volunteer work for IDIA where we teach students who are preparing for CLAT. And I'm also a part of Legal Aid Services based at ILNU, where we do GL visits and where we tell pre-trial prisoners about their rights.
In the in
Pre-trial
the
prisoners.
in that jail visits and working with prisoners, do you actually represent them or just give them information?
Ma'am, actually, we are not allowed to represent them because we do not have a license per se. So we just give them legal advice, like how can they proceed because their trial has not been yet started. So how they can proceed with
And
their
are these
trial
people
and
that
what are
do
their
have
rights.
do they have representation? Do they have an attorney, an
And some
advocate?
of them, yes, ma'am, most of them do because there is a provision of legal aid in the Indian criminal justice system. So mostly, if they cannot afford lawyers, so state provides them with lawyers.
Okay, thank you very much. And how about, please excuse my terrible pronunciation, Shrishti Bayai? How do you say that? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. That it's Shrishti Bajaj.
Bajaj.
Yes. I'm Shrishti Bajaj. I'm a fourth year law student, and currently I'm working on HSF mode, which deals with European uh, competition law mode. I wanted to come in this field because I have a family background. My grandfather, he was a lawyer. My father, he was a consultant, and my father dealt in criminal matters. My grandfather dealt with civil issues. So I was inspired by them. I used to see them working, and that's how I decided that I will enter this field and we'll get to know about the complex cases everybody faces. I was amazed by the working hours they have to work. So I wanted to know what exactly it takes to really work so many hours and then to get a single argument which can actually make you win a case. So that's how I got inspired. And I am into the course right now.
And do you have family members who are currently advocates?
Uh, Though I have one relative, but he's not a family member per se, but he's a relative, which he was working under my grandfather itself. So we have a chamber named by my grandfather only, and he works in them. He again he helps me, and I used to intern with him.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any interests outside of going to school in law?
Sorry.
Do you have any interests other than law? What else do you do with your time?
Like hobbies, if you mean, other
Sure.
than.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yes, I am a professional dancer, and I also do other activities, like I do help my mom in different kind of things. So my mom is a jewelry designer, so I help her out, and I do different things. Yes, I do. But my main, I've been always a studio student, and I've always focused on studies. So my only goal right now is to study and uh, make out things better in a way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, how about Sarabi Agarwal?
Hello, ma'am. Good morning. Sorry, good afternoon. So,
Actually, it's morning here.
good morning to you. Good afternoon. Okay. Then, so basically, it should be the pronunciation. I don't mean to do that
Okay.
because the spelling is SURA. I understand that. So, hello everyone. I'm Surbi Agrawal and I come from Gurgaon, Haryana. So, and basically, I also come from a family of 5 like Tarushi, and I have my parents, and then we are 3 siblings. I'm the eldest one, and so basically, I come from a family of engineers and chartered accountants, unlike Srishti. So it was really hard to convince them. It was hard to convince my father to pursue law because he wanted somewhere, I think he wanted me to pursue engineering. And I remember even the 10th grade science and math, I was hardly able to do. I used to cry doing maths. And unfortunately, even in college, I have BCom LLB. So I have to do accounts, I have to study economics, which in the beginning I did not like. I'm getting hang of it now since I'm in 4th semester in 2nd year. So there's that. Then a little about myself. I think I would like to tell about my law journal. So during the lockdown period in July, when the COVID was at its peak, we started writing a lot of articles. We thought that, this is sometime we can publish good articles because it brings something to your CV. And one fine day, my friend called me and he said, do you want to start a law journal? I said, what are you talking about? Are you serious? And then we actually put in some minds into it. We have a website. I'll probably give you the link in the chat box. So yeah, basically that's what I'm busy in currently. So that about me.
You sound like you're busy.
Yeah.
And then, and so do you have any hobbies outside of law? Anything else you're doing?
I used to have some hobbies. I think I used to have some hobbies before law school, but now I'm so busy. I don't think I keep myself busy with some competitions. Either I'm participating or I'm conducting some competitions. So I don't have time for hobbies right now.
What is the name of the law journal?
Yeah, it's Lex Bonafide. So I'll also type it in the chat box.
Okay, interesting. And let me ask all of you, tell me when you're talking, when you come up, when your name is called, what do you want, how do you want me to address you? Do you want me to use your first name, your formal name, the name you like? How do you want to be addressed? So Surbi is, how do you want to be addressed?
Ma'am, my first name would be good, Surbi.
Okay. And for some reason, I'm always Judge Mel wherever I am. I think because people can't say my last name or something. So Judge Mel is fine with me too. Thank you very much for your presentation. And then how about Ananya? Is there an Ananya here?
Ma'am.
Anani. Okay.
Ananya.
Ananya. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Please.
Yes, ma'am. I actually have joined recently, so I don't know what's going on.
You are on front and center stage. Everyone's looking at you. And we're now going to ask you to do a 2-minute talk about you. Who are you? What are you doing? How did you get here? And where are you going?
Okay, myself, Aman Khazri. I am from Jaipur, Rajasthan. And my father is a businessman and my mom's a housewife. And currently I'm pursuing law degree. Since childhood, this field has quite interested me, and I've always wanted to go in this field. And in future also, I wanted to go in judiciary. So it's till now I am finding this journey quite interesting, and I hope it would be a wonderful 5-year journey for me. So that's all.
Well, you can do a little better than that. Tell us, first of all, why the judiciary?
Because I think in judiciary, you are in such a position that in order to bring a change, you can do something at your position. And I think it's one of the most respectable job. And for me, respect means a lot in the society.
Mhm. And do you have any hobbies or things that you do outside of school and law?
Okay, actually, my hobbies are like sports. In sports, I like martial arts. I'm good at it, and also singing.
Mhm. Now I have to ask, what style of martial arts?
Normal martial arts, karate.
Karate. Okay, I do Aikido. Do you know
Pardon, ma'am?
Aikido? Do you know
No, ma'am.
Aikido? It's
No,
a
ma'am.
Japanese art as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have 4th degree black belt now.
Oh, actually, I'm green belt currently.
Good. Martial arts is a good way to get stress relief, because this
Yes,
can
ma'am.
be a very stressful career that you're taking on, all of you. Yeah. And about the judiciary, I know there's a number. I think 4 or 5 people that indicated they wanted to work in the judiciary, and that's an interesting, definitely an interesting place to work for the reasons stated and for others. I know when I went to the judiciary, I wasn't sure I wanted to do that. I was so involved with the people that you work with, the people that you represent, the witnesses, actually the fun of trial advocacy, that I thought, oh, I don't want to sit up there and be bored all the time. Because I was afraid of it, that the judge is just sitting there. That doesn't look like it's enough activity for me. So I decided to try it for a while and immediately found that it was wonderful. It's incredible to have the last word. I mean, that is just wonderful. Even if it gets changed in the appellate court, you get the last word at your level. But more importantly, I realized how tremendously important the decisions are, and that as an advocate in the courtroom, whether you're a defense advocate or prosecutor, you have an agenda. You're pushing your agenda. And sometimes we tend to push it a little too far because we think the judge is going to come back and not give us everything we want. So we're not entirely reasonable and objective when we're in the courtroom as an advocate. It's not the best way to be an advocate, but I realized that it's true with a lot of people, and it was with me too. And then I realized that I had the privilege of being the only person in the courtroom to just do what was right. I didn't have to make my client happy. I didn't have to make my boss happy. I didn't have to make the judge happy. I had the privilege to do what was right. It's amazing. It really is. It's a wonderful job. So I admire people wanting to go into the judiciary. It's hard work like everything else, but it's well worth it. Okay, now we're going to move on to Sree, S-R-E-E. Do I have that right? Ganesh? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Speak up so I can find you.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
I'm Ganesh from Bangalore. So the thing is, throughout my life, I've done one thing, and that's solve puzzles. I love solving puzzles. So before law, I was basically involved in science, and I was into innovation there. But then at one point, I realized that law, if I get into law, I can make a lot more money. So that actually motivated me and brought me to law. So then within law, after that, after a lot of critical analysis, and then after trying to find out what what interests me the most, I found out international law to be something that's very interesting and something that I kind of care about, because from a long time I was fascinated by how transnational crime works, and then how seeing a lot of shows on History TV and National Geography kind of inspired me into that. So after that, after actually coming into law, and after starting let's say preparing for it, or let's say getting into it, I kind of realized that this is something that interests me and at the same point I find it very challenging. So this kind of motivates me to do better at it. So that's why I'm in law right now. Other than that, I'm into philosophy. I just read a lot. I read a lot of philosophy at times. what like fascinates me about law basically is that like how as a whole like human like society we've created an artificial construct, and how this artificial construct of law kind of like, let's say, polices the whole society, and somehow everyone at one point or the other kind of like follows it without like questioning it. So that kind of fascinates me, like how an idea like that can like, let's say, control people's lives. So that I think is also very interesting, like within law. Other than law, I'm into fitness. I do a lot of fitness, and then I used to play tennis. I've like left that. Now I've picked up playing the ukulele. So yeah, I'm like off and on a lot of things.
Ukulele, that's an unusual instrument. What do you play on the ukulele?
I started learning playing the ukulele during the pandemic because I had nothing to do. So I picked up the instrument and I started learning, and now and it's a very easy instrument to learn, so I can literally play anything on it right now.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It is. I lived for a while in Hawaii, which is where the ukulele basically arises from, and it's played by everyone there, and it's fascinating music. Okay, thank you. I don't think I have any questions. I like the international and the puzzle part of all this. This sounds good. It's a lot you have to work with there. Law is a puzzle. You got to puzzle through what it means, why it is, and what it can do for me and my client. It's a puzzle all the time. So you might like that. Okay, so next we have, oh boy, Gupta Sartak. I don't know what the pronunciation is. Are you here? No? Okay. There you are. Can you hear me? Can you turn on your camera?
Sarthak?
Sarthak, can you hear me? Okay, we'll come back and see if we can pick you up later. Pranashi, Jane? Jane?
It's Priyanshi.
Priyanshi, thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So I'm just a little bit intimidated by seeing so many seniors because I'm a first semester student, and I don't have the clarity other people have so as to what they want to do in their future. I just want, okay, so let me just start from the basic. I don't have to be intimidated. But yeah, so I am from Ahmedabad, and right where Nirma University is. I live close by anyway. So I'm from Ahmedabad. My dad is a businessman. I'm a single child, so you can guess how spoiled I am. Okay, so yeah, the one thing that interests me in law is that I just want to listen to people's stories and how they have come where they are. And law helps me to even help them in their stories. Maybe I can change some lives by the help of law. That's all I've ever dreamt of. And the way I got into law is actually quite funny because as a child, I used to argue a lot. Okay. And one of my friends and my mom just happened to say, "Okay, Priyanshi, you just argue a lot. You should pursue law." And it just stuck from there. Otherwise, I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be everything that's under the sun. But then law, finally it is. So yeah, that's it. I play lawn tennis. I bake a lot. I bake amazing cakes. I play state level lawn tennis, and that's it about me. I'm not as creative as other people, but I'm surely interested in puzzles. And Chris Ramsey being one of them, if you've heard of him. I just follow puzzles a lot. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. I don't think I have any questions for you, so thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And next we have Supriya Yoka.
Ma'am, it's Supriya Julka.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Can I just interrupt you for a moment? The J is pronounced like a J, like that?
Yes, ma'am. It's Julka.
Okay. In Bosnian, I'm going to be messing this up because I have too many languages I don't know well. But in Bosnian, we pronounce it as a Y. So that's what I'm doing wrong. I'll try and not do that. But go ahead.
So I come from a small city, Kanpur, which is in Uttar Pradesh in India. So coming from a background, I'm from a joint family background wherein all my elders and siblings are mostly chartered accountants or MBAs. So I'm the first person in the family who chose to pursue law and had to fight seriously in my family to choose this profession because everyone has this kind of a feeling in my family that I should not go into law because being the first generation lawyer and the kind of difficulties and atrocities that you have to face initially in your career is something that they didn't wanted me to go through. So I had to insist my father, and I would say that my brother is my greatest supporter for all this while, for all the journey that I have covered till now, being a law student. So he clearly understood that what I wish to do. So choosing law now, why did I wanted to pursue this? Because since my childhood, I always wanted to be a change maker, something that I've seen in my family. So the society that where I had lived in and the kind of surroundings that I had been brought up into, I was a person who was always opposing the views and opposing the cultural beliefs of people. So I wanted to be a change maker, and I thought that this would be a good option to go into law and then do something in future about it. And currently, like Tarushi, I've been involved in different non-governmental organizations. Like the way Tarushi interned in Vishaka, I was with her. So we together handled a project regarding women empowerment in Jaipur. And also, I've been involved with different NGOs like Faith in Ahmedabad, wherein I help students who are basically from village areas to in their first to fifth class of education. And currently, I'm in a leadership role in the leadership position in increasing diversity by increasing access, which is an organization started by late Dr. Shamnad Bashir. So the whole idea of the organization is to bring the underprivileged students and help them financially and turn them into community leaders in future. So the very idea of the organization instills me to work for it, and currently I'm leading the Gujarat chapter of the organization, wherein on an yearly basis we are preparing students to give CLAT, the Common Admission Entrance Exam, so that in their 5 years of journey also we are supporting them financially and as academically also. So that's it. And for my hobbies, like to tell you, my hobbies would be like since school days I've been into sports. So I like playing throwball. I've participated in various competitions in school. But after college, I think somewhere the hobby has just like I've not been into sports so far now in the last 4 years. So that's it.
You're very busy. It's amazing, in fact. But what I didn't quite get the NGO or the group you were working with about women. What was that?
That's an organization in Jaipur, Vishakha.
And
So
what do they do?
they basically work for like when I was associated for a month over there. So they were working on a women empowerment project wherein we used to go to different places, do focused group discussions with the women of the area, and we got to understand the safety of the people in that various areas. So we used to do safety audits in different places and
Mhm.
talking to people, something that I like to do, knowing their stories, what they are facing, and how we can help them to change that. Something that inspires me to do.
And did you tell me what year you are?
I'm in fourth year of my law school.
Fourth year. Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Aman,
Yes, ma'am.
please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Aman Khazri. I'm from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. I am in my second year pursuing my fourth semester. right from right from my early childhood, I wanted to be an practicing advocate. First, for several reasons. Firstly, because I was greatly inspired by my uncle, who is in senior advocate before the Gujarat High Court. So I was greatly inspired by him and wanted to be like him. So one of the reasons for joining law school was to get inspired and to get into the field. Moreover, one of the reasons that at a later stage of my life I want to get into politics, and our history suggests, and currently most of our parliamentarians are law graduates. So that was also a reason to enter law school. Moreover, that was the only option I had left to pursue in my life, because first, at the initial stage, I wanted to be a cricketer, but due to some injuries I could not pursue it further. So I had to resort to my second goal, that is to be an advocate. So I joined law school. Currently, I am participating in the HSF Moot Court competition organized by King's Law College with Srishti Bajaj. Is my moot part.
And what is the case that you're doing in moot court? What type of case?
The case revolves around the present dispute between Apple and Spotify. The alleged anti-competitive uh, actions of Apple of removing Spotify for a certain period of time for non-compliance or not paying the fees charged by them for the services they get from Apple. So the
Mhm,
case is similar to that real life case.
mhm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and Eshi, am I saying it right? Eshi? Eeshe.
Okay, hello, that'll be me. It's Isha.
Isha, sorry, Isha.
So I am in my 8th semester of law school. That would be the second part of the 4th year. And what drew me to law? Actually, I'm a very opinionated person. So early on in my life, I wanted to be the queen of the world. Unfortunately, that designation doesn't exist. If it would have, I would have gladly applied. But as I grew older, I understood that um, in law you have this kind of an opinion and you stand up for yourself, and that kind me drew me towards it. I also used to believe, like I'm talking about when I was 17, 16, 17, 18, I used to believe in the complete black and white of the world, that everything existed in black and white. Although law school has taught me that things are more nuanced than that, and you cannot basically put people or things or actions into categories. So okay, that was also one of the reasons that law drew me. Another reason that I was drawn to law is because I am extremely I want to make a change, as Supriya also said in her introduction. So I also want to make a change, and I think that implementation as well as the policy part of it really makes a difference, and lawyers actually participate on both the ends. So that was one of the reason. I'm not really interested in criminal law. It's too much of a moral dilemma for me of what to do and what not to do. I'm more interested in civil litigation, because of course, as you can perhaps tell, that I'm really talkative and I like to put my point forward. So litigation was it. I am moved by the two fields that really draw me towards them are environment and energy law, both of the courses that I have taken. And energy law, although it might sound like the antithesis of what environment law stands for, actually has an inbuilt characteristic of sustainability that has to be tackled in the energy trilemma. So that's where my interest lies. I'm not really moved by the human affairs. I don't know why, but as far as the human affairs are concerned, I am into politics. I enjoy politics, national and international relations, and the two major things that I am really concerned with are the status of women in society, not only just India, but all over the world. Every society has its different issues. It's not just limited to India. And education. So education of primary education is okay. I've also actually volunteered with the Commissionerate of Indore to teach English um, to primary students, students of the primary section. But actually, I think what makes a person change is the education that they get in their adolescent years, including sex education, which is widely disregarded in India. So that's what actually moves me. And other than that, my interests lie in culture. I absolutely love immersing myself in culture. So art history, architecture, literature, and music, and teas, and I like gardening, and I like cooking, and I think that's about it.
And tell me a little about your family.
Okay, so I have a small nuclear family. I'm the only child. My father has a pharma business, and my mother is working with the State Bank of India. And I have a first son who must be lurking around here somewhere. And pharma actually brings me to it. I'm actually, when it comes to other laws as well, I'm interested in trademark and IP pharma, so patent in pharma industry. And I'm taking a course with Professor Chhatrapati. Say hello, sir. Wave.
Okay, well, your interests are wide. They're not small at all. You have a lot to think about there, and it sounds very interesting. And that you've eliminated only, I think, criminal. Everything else you're in, right?
Yeah, criminal, because I can't. One of the reasons that you said that you became a judge was because you had the final word. I can't do that. I can. I will see through what the action, what led to it, and what were the injustices that the person might have faced, although the actions might be wrong, and that would just put me in a dilemma. And I'm a textbook overthinker, so I don't think that's the right field for me.
Well,
And
you're probably right, because that is exactly what you do. You can't just evaluate someone or sentence someone based on a snapshot of one moment or one day or 1 minute of their life. It has to be in context of everything else in their life, and it is a big job to try and weigh all that. You're right.
Yeah, and if the judge gets an anxiety attack in the judge's chair, I don't think it bodes well for the system.
No, generally we try and not do that. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Now, Yais, oh, I don't know how to say this. I'm sorry. Jaysynh. Are you here? Can you
Hi,
help me?
ma'am. Yeah. Hi, ma'am.
How do you say your name?
It's Jaisi Kela. Jaisi, it's fine.
Okay.
Jysin. Jaisi.
Okay, thank you. Please.
Okay. Hi. Good afternoon, ma'am. I belong to a small town from Gujarat, Patan. To give you a reference, it's just a 2 hours ride from Nirma. So I live just near Nirma, to be very honest. Talking about myself, my name is Jaisi Kela. I have done my schooling from Patan itself. And after my schooling, I enrolled in Nirma and I've been to the other city. I've never studied in any other city and I've been to Nirma. From my childhood, I've always been into litigation because being from a family of litigation, it always wooed me. The secret to happiness. My father has always been happy. My grandfather has always been happy. I guess either they are faking it or they are literally happy with their profession. I just wanted to check upon that how good is this field. So yeah, I've been there. Talking about my hobbies, however lame it sounds, I like to watch movies. And lately, I've started working out, and it has turned out to be an hobby. And I've also started playing guitar, just like my friend Ganesh. I've started guitar in the pandemic, and I've got a hang of it. I am playing guitar. In my early childhood, in my high school, I've been a table tennis player. I've been a state level table tennis player. Other than that, I'm particularly into litigation and I like criminal law because it gives the context of country and the society that we live in. So yeah, I think that if you want to do justice, criminal is the way through which you do justice. And I'm into this field because of justice and the lucrative money that comes with it. Let's address it. That is the money, a lot of money in this field. So yeah, that is it. Talking about my work experience, I am a second year law student, and because of pandemic crunching into my life, I have not had that much work experience. I have two internship. One I had at an NGO with my friend Aman Khazri, who is just here in this class. We used to work at an NGO for specially able children. We used to empower them with the education, and that they are no short less than the normal human being that exists. They are normal. It's okay to have disabilities, and you can still succeed in your life. So we worked for them. And my second internship work was with a private lawyer in my town in the district court. And it was a good experience knowing how courts work, and in the situation of pandemic, how the courts are dealing with the justice system. Are they able to render justice to the people who seek justice? So yeah, that's about everything. My father is a public prosecutor. I do come from a family of lawyers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And next, Gitika.
Hello, hi, I'm Gitika Khandelwal.
Gitika, okay.
Hi, I'm Gitika Khandelwal. I'm from Indore. So, my father is a pharmaceutical businessman. I live in a joint family of 11 people. Being the eldest one, my parents and my grandparents, all of them have a lot of expectations that I should do some certain things. Why I actually chose law because I'm pretty much intimidated by the personality of the lawyers. I mean, the way the personality of a lawyer is absolutely different from the other professions, be it a doctor or an engineer. So yeah, so basic reason for me to be in this profession is firstly that I'm pretty much intimidated by the personality of the lawyers, and yeah, I definitely want to bring up a change in the society, but I did not really put in much effort, I feel, to to start up something like that, to help to change the society, right? My hobbies, so I have done a couple of things. I'm a state level basketball player. I am a district level swimmer. I am a professional dancer, a Kathak dancer, and I have a diploma in drawing. So I'm pretty much good at co-curricular activities. Yeah, that's it.
Very nice. Nice spread of activities, art and athletics and all kinds of stuff. That's very good. What year are you?
I'm in the second year. Fourth semester.
Okay, thank you. And Bhavika, how did I say? You say, please say your name for me.
Yeah, am I audible?
Would you say your name?
Chup karna. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, I am Bhavika Makhija.
Okay.
I'm from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. I'm currently in my second year, fourth semester. So how I chose law was, one day my grandfather looked at me and he said, you know what, you can be a judge. He's not a lawyer per se, but he was in a circle of lawyers and he used to go to the courthouse and, he was in that stuff. So he said, you look authoritative. You can be a judge. And I thought, yes, not a bad idea. I can be. So that's how it started. Then I, started to know that when I started to figure out that, yeah, I'm not interested in doing MBA or CA or engineering. So law is a good idea and I can be a judge. They're authoritative, they're the respect they get in the society. So I thought, yes, I want to join the judiciary, so I will go for law. So I chose law. And in college, I'm really liking the subjects which are like currently in second year. Those are criminal law and constitutional law. I'm really interested in those subjects, and criminal law especially because, they have some substance. In civil matters, I think there is like, you can solve it among yourselves. You don't have to go to the court. The criminal side of the law. Then for my hobbies, I do yoga. I started learning crochet in this lockdown. Then I like listening to music. I like going for walks. And yeah, that's it. I like watching series a lot. Yeah, so that's about it.
Okay, and you're in your second year of fourth semester? Is that right? Okay, great. Muskan, Muskan? I just have that. Are you here? Okay.
Hi, Professor Flanagan.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, can I address you like that?
You can address me like that, or you can address me the way most people do. Just call me Judge Mel.
Okay. My name is Muskan and I'm a final year student. And choosing to read the law was a decision I made after putting some thought to it. And yet there was no ready answer to the question, why law? So until the fourth year, I did not find an interest in many of the subjects I'd been studying. But as it happened, I finally opted for a course that widened the scope of an area I'd already been interested in, which was human rights law. The greatest thing about reading the law, I think, is that it opens the way for you to seek opportunities that you might not have otherwise had. And it's got something for everyone. So while at law school, I dabbled in quite a few things. I negotiated, I mooted, volunteered with quite a few organizations in India and through ISEC, which is a student run international organization. So I went to Georgia for a month for that. And I performed, I interned, edited for 3 places, wrote, and still do, mostly as part of Jurist, which is a legal commentary and news service. And my understanding has been that maybe you'll find a subject you come to love. And even if not, there's no dearth of options at law school. You could be a diplomat, you could study international relations, you could be a journalist. There's a long list. And in my 5th year studying law, I've come to realize that this half a decade's worth of knowledge will take you places and it will help you lead. So, other than everything I've mentioned so far, my interests include music, learning languages. I'm currently learning Korean and French, thanks to the pandemic, books, and the books I mostly read are memoirs and biographies these days, and traveling. There's no place that's not on my list.
And how many languages can you speak?
I cannot speak French properly, but I can read it now and I can also understand it to a great extent. And for Korean, I can say that I'm a beginner right now. Other than that, I speak English and Hindi.
Korean is a tough language.
Yeah, it definitely is, but I see a lot of similarities with Hindi. So,
are you learning to read Korean?
No, I can't read it because the script is entirely different. It's in Hangul, right, which is not easy to read.
Mm-hmm. I can speak Japanese, but I can't read it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, thank you. And Patel, Patel, are you here? There we go.
Yes.
Can we see you?
Yeah, I'm just trying. I have certain problems. Yeah, there, I took it. So sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Am I visible?
Yes.
And audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Well, I did not expect a lot of juniors in this course because I was hoping that, okay, firstly, I'm a final year student. I'm a 5th year student. I really did not expect a lot of juniors because I was expecting a lot of my batchmates to take this course since this is the last semester we have and we do not have any academics in the semester. We're only supposed to be interning. So I thought that this will be a good way for me to, get back to the academic part of the field and, be in touch with people who are in the academia, who can give me a better outlook towards what's going on in the law, because all these months we've been only having online internships and we're not actually getting a hangover, a proper, going to the courts, visiting offices and a proper work that we can actually have. So I thought that this would be a very good opportunity to take, and hence I had opted for this course. Coming to certain personal information about myself. So I have nobody close in my nexus who is from a law background, not in my family, not even with friends apart from law school. So this was a very different field that I had to choose for. But I believe that the reason why I might have taken law, I'm not very sure, because I'm still very unclear about what I'll do in this field, but definitely it's going to be on the line in the criminal field. So the reason why I might have taken law was when I was in school, we had something in IB schools called Community Service Action, that is CAS. So we would be doing that for many years. And that would entail a lot of traveling, and that would also entail a lot of community service, and that would again involve going on personal basis, talking to people and everything. So for years I'd been doing that, and that really struck me that it was like when you're a kid and you're a teenager, you're always frustrated by the fact that why isn't this working, or why is the system like this, why are institutions working or functioning in a particular way, and who to approach, what is the authority. So those are a lot of questions, and I'd always been a very inquisitive person when it comes to asking and all those things. And I think school was not the very right platform for me to always get those answers. But my mother always thought that my personality suits, and I was also into a lot of model United Nations and debating and those kind of activities. So my mother always thought that law would suit me really well, and she was the one who actually instilled this into my mind. And I wasn't very sure I was going to go into liberal arts. I did commercial arts for 2 years. And okay, art is also something that I really love. Art, history, culture, those are my greatest interests always. But the thing that really excites me about law is that is the intersection of law, the criminal law, psychology. So that is something that really interests me. We have beautiful courses in criminal honors at our institute, which I really recommend to my juniors who are sitting here and who are interested in criminal law, as many of them mentioned, that we have amazing faculties who take up criminal psychology. Our dean takes up penology, victimology, and everything. So when I was traveling in all these, cities as a kid for community service and all, I had always understood that at a lot of places and a lot of junctures, you would realize that a criminal would also be a victim at times, and there is no, proper mechanism for country, or a lot of, I don't know if
We're losing you a little.
Give back of what I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I think your connection is a little weak. Yeah. Do you want to add anything?
I'm so sorry. Could you please repeat? I couldn't hear.
For a while, your connection was getting a little weak.
No. I do not want to add.
Okay. And fifth year meaning this is your last semester? Is this your last semester?
This is my last semester, yes.
Okay, yes. And it's true. We don't have many fifth year people here, but there are 3 classes that we're having now instead of 1. So there's 90 students in total. So there's probably a lot of fifth years in some of them. But I just bring up the point that we're all beginners when it comes to learning how to communicate. It doesn't matter really to me what year you're in. I'm not asking for that reason. I'm asking to know if we talk about how complicated we can get in legal scenarios without losing people. So I want to make sure that I keep your attention on the content, but what we're working on, we're all beginners in. No matter how long you've been working on communication, you can always get better. Okay, so let's move on. The next person I have on my list is Chandrika. Is that anything you can recognize as your name? Is there somebody there? I heard something.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, if you speak up, you'll be more audible.
Hello, ma'am. Now am I audible?
Yeah, do we have you on the screen? I don't see you.
Ma'am, I'm having some issues with the camera, so it's not on.
Okay, speak up a little louder and then we'll continue. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So my name is Chandrika Shaktawat and I come from Udaipur, Rajasthan, which is also known as the Lake City. I come from a joint family of businessmen and chartered accountants, and that is one of the reasons why I got into law, because I wanted to do something which none of my family members had opted for. And also, I was an introvert before entering the law school, so I wanted a career which is challenging and which would force me to come out of my shell and to network with various people. Uh, Currently, I'm in my third year of law school, and during these years, I've worked with an NGO based in Udaipur, which works for child empowerment, and also with some criminal lawyers at the district level. Uh, and currently, I'm very much interested in family law as we are reading it in our third year. And also, apart from that, I'm interested in human rights and environmental law. Uh, for the future, I want to join the judiciary because just as you said that you love to have the last word, just like that, I also love that, and also for the respect which is attached to that position of a judge. And as for the hobbies, I used to like sports very much when I was in school, but I gradually lost interest in that, and currently I love music, but regretfully, I don't have a nice voice to sing, but I love listening to music. That's all, ma'am.
Okay, and you said you're in the third year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Himanshu Shah? No, not here. Himanshu Shah? Okay. Aditya Sharma? Aditya Sharma? Ritunjay Sharma? Ritunjay Sharma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please.
Hello, everyone. I am a third year student at Institute of Law, and I, excuse me, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am a third year student. My name is Ritunjay Sharma, and I am from Jaipur, Rajasthan. I have studied at multiple cities, and I have studied in six schools because my dad has a transferable job. He's also a judge in the district court. So because of that background, I got some inclination towards law. Also, I wanted to join the defense forces, and law is a second option for me primarily. However, while studying law, I got really interested in this subject, and I wanted to pursue my career in the stream of law. But my first priority is the defense forces, so I'm just preparing for that also. And I love singing, and I'm fond of playing football. Also, my elder sister is also studying in the same college also, so that's why I choose this college to study. And I have two elder sisters. The elder sister is pursuing MBA, and she's the only one who has done something apart from the field of law. So that's why we are like my dad was really interested that I should pursue engineering, because he think that that's a very good option. So I opted science maths for that. However, I don't think science is a cup of tea for me. That's why I just switched the stream. Further, apart from studies, I love traveling. I travel a lot, and because I think that hobby just came in me because I have lived in many cities, in multiple cities. Because of that, I just don't want to stay at a particular city for a long time. I don't like that thing. I just want to travel to different cities, and that's all, ma'am.
Okay, and in the defense forces, do they have a legal section?
Yes, ma'am. They have the JAG services are there. So I
Yeah.
will go for that so that I can stick to the law background as well as I can pursue my dream to go into the
Yeah.
written course.
It's a good way to bring them both together. It's an
Yes.
interesting area of law.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Shambhava Bavo, sorry, Sharma.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. Am I audible?
You're audible. Can we see you?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there's some bandwidth issue at my end. I was logged out 4 to 5 times. I'm sorry for
Okay.
that. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
fix that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, yeah. Hello. Good morning, as you said. Um, I'm gonna be completely honest that why did I choose law? So honestly, I did not have a solid reason to choose law, but not to choose other conventional fields. So I come from Kota, Rajasthan, and it is an educational hub to prepare for engineering, as everybody knows here. And even for localized, it's kind of predetermined for kids that will have to choose maths or biology or will have to become an engineer or a doctor. So, in fact, in my 10th pre-boards, I wrote science as my subject for higher studies, but then I changed it to humanities in my 10th boards actually. So I wasn't very well prepared for law at that time. So as I didn't want to take up science and maths, I explored other options, and law seemed to be associated with uh, my interests, right? So I researched, and I found it intellectually challenging for me, and then I thought it would help me to see things from less privileged people's perspective. So and as I hope to improve my standards of thought and knowledge in the direction I am interested in, that made me choose law, I guess. So I'm not completely, I don't see why did I choose law completely, but yeah, I'm interested in subjects. That's why I chose law. And apart from law, I play sitar, and that's an instrument. And yeah, I play badminton.
Okay, good. And what year are you?
I'm in second year.
Second year. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Nirika Shetty.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes.
And visible? Oh.
Yes.
Hi, it's Niharika. If that's difficult, you can just call me by my last name.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Niharika. I'm in the second year right now, fourth semester. So I come from a family that is it's as far from law as it gets. Both my parents are doctors. Most people in my family are doctors. And I come from Mangalore, Karnataka. So I'm South Indian. And there are two conventional career choices that they make here. So you're either a doctor or an engineer. And yeah, those are the choices that were given to me as well. So my first victory with law came with convincing my parents to allow me to take up law, which was a sweet victory, albeit a hard-fought one. But it was good. I'm really happy to be taking up law. I've always been very passionate about society, about people around me, which is, I think, what drew me to law in the first place. Another thing that drew me to law was my passion for the language. I love English. I love to read. I also dabble with writing once in a while. So yeah, I mean, that's what drew me to law. I'm more drawn to litigation than anything else because of, so I did two internships, both were with lawyers in the courts. And it is just something, I can't describe how it has changed me or molded me. Because I mean, when you think of law, everybody thinks of something very mechanical, something very boring. It's all in the books, it's all on paper. But then when you go to a court, you realize that it's almost a living organism. You see it come alive around you, and there is a beauty to it. And I think that's what draws me to law. So I look forward to practicing litigation as well. As far as my hobbies are concerned, I'm a jack of all trades. I was a national level handball player. I am a classically trained dancer. I did Kathak for most of my life, but I've also done a couple of ballroom styles as well. I also sing. My college mates know that I was in the committee earlier. And I also used to write when I was in school, so I did that as well.
Very busy person. I love your living organism idea, because that's exactly what it is like in a courtroom. You can never expect what is going to happen. You will see things you have never seen before in every single trial, and it's just amazing because it's theater, it's life, it's everything thrown together at one time. So it really is, like you say. Okay, next we have Yash Shukla. Yeah, Ganesh. No, Yash. Where are we? He's not here, or she? Yash. Okay. Shristi Singh. No. Ruchika Sogani. Sogani. We're losing people here. Last name Umat, U-M-A-T. Ah, there you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Mitali. Okay.
It's Mitali.
Mitali.
Yes. Okay, so hello everyone. I am Mitali. I am in 4th year of law, pursuing BCom LLB. So, law as a career option was never on my checklist. I never wanted to do law. I never thought about it. But eventually, I ended up in law school. I wanted to pursue MBA, but then my father did not approve of the same, and he gave me an option that you can take a year and think about it. So I took a drop year.
Got it. We're not hearing. Okay, now you weren't for a moment. Now you are. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, so law as a career option was given to me. I was given a choice to think about it for a year. I took a drop year. I prepared for the entrance exam, and that was the time when I developed my interest in this subject. And I thought about it, and I was like, I want to do this. This is something which interests me, and this is something I want to do in the near future. So, coming from a family with no one in this field, it was difficult for me initially, but then for me, personal fulfillment is something which is more important. So, and I feel law is something that is not just a profession, but it is a medium through which you can stand up for yourself and you can stand up for others too. So, during my internships were the most that helped me develop my interest in this field, because that was the practical experience which we experienced. Because uh, in college you only learn through books, but in internships you get to learn many practical aspects. So that was something which attracted me towards this subject more. And during this frankly speaking, I entered this lockdown period when I was in 3rd year, and I did not do much in my law school. So I was not happy that I have not yet achieved anything. So this lockdown phase was something which helped me develop myself as a person, because I explored many options which I could do. Uh, I learned I learned how to write. So that is something which is my hobby now. I love to write now. And I've interned during this lockdown period. I've worked really hard. I wrote many articles. So that is all about me.
Okay, well, it's good that you're using your time well now. That's very good. Okay, next, Nishant. Nishant.
Good morning. So I am Nishant and I live in Dehradun, which is like a valley surrounded by hills. And like from my childhood, I've always lived in a hilly state because my father works for the government here. And for me, choosing law was a decision which came after observing people. So basically, I used to meet the chief judicial magistrate who used to live like few blocks down the road, and I was really fascinated by their life and their work cycle. Like that's something which I think is really comfortable and nice and pays well. So I mean, to be very honest, yes, it's the money and the respect which one strives for, and that's what I also do. And I'm a second year law student, so I've got like not that much experience but yet, but I have like certain experiences with internships at law firms which have told me that judiciary is something which I should aim for, because I am not a person who could do a desk job. I really need that adventure and like that, as Ganesh says, puzzle to solve. And other than that, I have a younger sibling. And for hobbies, I used to, like, I try everything and then leave it. So basically, I did a lot of stuff when I joined the college. I started writing, I started gymming, and then nowadays, like, as Ganesh has inspired everyone, he has inspired me, and I'm starting to teach myself electric guitar. And rest, I just like the winters here, so it's really cold right now.
How cold is really cold?
I mean, now it's getting better, but it was like, below 10 degrees. So it's fairly cold.
Yes. Right now it's -3 here in Bosnia.
That's like next level.
Okay, now thank you very much. And Zala. See, I can handle the last name better than the first name.
Yes, ma'am. No issue.
There you are. Hello.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Hi, everybody. My name is Prithviraj. Uh, you can call me Zala as well. That's easier. I'm in my third year, and a decision that I took to pursue law was firstly because I did not want to choose the conventional career options which are more mainstream, and secondly, because I've been a student leader as well as argumenting and picking up a cause and advocating for the same has been inculcated in very much my part in my school life, as well as public speaking. And I've been doing MUNs since my school time as well, and that's the reason that I chose law. And eventually, when I learned more about it over the years, it interested me more and more. I am interested in constitutional law as well as international and comparative law aspect of human rights and constitutional law. I I have recently in the lockdown when the Gujarat High Court decided to go virtual. So I took up this cause of making the court proceedings for public. So I petitioned the court uh, and I argued that the virtual proceedings should be open for public viewing. And after a month of proceedings and hearings, the court accepted my plea, and as a result, now the court has become the first court of India to live stream its proceedings. And I also got the opportunity to assist the court with regards to the modalities of what will be a good option as in to live stream the proceedings. So I also assisted the committee of the High Court. and I have done quite a few litigation and judicial internships. And I used to play national level cricket before I joined law school.
You're very busy. All good things. And it's wonderful about the live streaming the court. Courts internationally, I travel a lot to different countries, and a lot of courts are just only open to the public on paper. In reality, they have no access to them at all. And it's really a sad situation because people don't trust the courts if they can't see them and see how they perform and what they do. So that's wonderful. Wow. Okay, now I have one more person, Akshita. Akshita, are you here? Mohilay, last name. Going once, going twice. Okay, we're gonna pass. Is there anyone present somewhere in this computer that
I was
I
present,
didn't
but
call?
hello, am I audible?
Yes.
My name is Sartha Gupta. I missed out because of the internet issue.
Okay.
Hello,
ahead.
everyone. I apologize sincerely for the inconvenience. As to the yesterday blast in Delhi, the network issue is there. My name is Sartha Gupta. I'm reading law. I'm in my 6th semester, 3rd year. I take my interest in constitutional law, basically on gender studies and human rights. To answer the question why law, I wasn't sure about legal profession, but I wanted to read law. I believe reading law is an essential subject. One must know what their Leviathan holds for them, as in what the country holds the law for them. And for another reason, to read law and to make it as a profession, to work for the substantive equality for the marginal community. For example, to work in field, for example, transgender, migrant workers, or Kashmiris. Nobody in my family is working in the legal profession. And if not law, I would have probably opened a cafe somewhere in mountain or cook for people or a library in Kashmir. Apart from law, I take my interest in art, literature. I like sketching, photography. In my spare time, I like to read people's life journey through biographies. Currently, I'm reading Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg memoir, My Own Words. During my school days, I trained in martial arts, taekwondo. I played for national, but soon I left it for after an injury. I don't do much sports now except swimming. I look forward this course to develop a better communication and to counter my anxiety for public speaking. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That was very well done, and I didn't feel much anxiety coming through the discussion or the presentation. So that's
Is
nice.
there
Is there anybody else that has not been called or didn't get a chance to talk?
Ma'am Abhishek.
Okay.
Yeah. So good morning, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone else. My name is Abhishek Sadhwani. I'm currently in semester 4. And talking about law, I was born and brought up being surrounded by people linked to law. I don't say that this is a reason that drove me to law, but yes, this drove my maximum attention towards this subject. And I've always been taught to, and I've always been tried to be a person who is monochromatic by thought. And this helped me further my interests in law. Like I like how law wants you to be analytical. I like how law wants you to have the ability to first look on things from a bird's eye view and then delving deep into them. And apart from law, I am serving as an administrator at the Statesmanship Program, which is a community service organization, and I volunteer at IDIA. I'm being led by Supriya Di, who is a part of this meeting. And yes, maybe that's about it.
What is the volunteer work you're doing? I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, this idea, increasing diversity by increasing access. Supriya Di is our team leader of Gujarat chapter. She is right now in the meeting. So we basically find people who are underprivileged and who want to pursue law as a career option, and we create when we organize a tests for them. And after that test, we screen those tests, and on the basis of that test, we help them to pursue law, and all the expenses are beared.
Wow, it's wonderful. Very, very good. Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else that we've missed?
Ma'am, I'm left.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. This is Jessica Sumani.
I'm currently in third year. I'm sorry, I'm in second year. I am so confused right now. So many people have spoken. I'm from a very small town, Pilani, Rajasthan. It's so small that I do not have a road in front of my house. We do not have traffic lights. So I've seen what privileges are. In fact, I feel I'm very privileged. I come from a family of engineers. My father is a textile engineer. My elder sister is a computer science engineer, and my brother is an electronical engineer. So all of them are working in big companies, but I chose law because I believe law can act as a catalyst for the change we want to see in the community. Being an advocate, you can work to improve the laws and policies, and in fact, the system that affect the community that we serve. I went to a boarding school, and because of my experience in a boarding school, I have seen diversity. In fact, I have friends from northeastern India. I have friends from UP. I have friends from Kerala. So my experience at a boarding school was very enriching. I learned a lot of things there, and I believe my best time till today would be my time at my school. So talking about my hobbies, I used to play sitar. I was a really good sitar player, but after my 12th, I stopped playing any instrument, maybe because I got so busy with law school. Uh, After lockdown, I started yoga, and I feel I'm really good at it, maybe. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hello,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes.
Audible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Arpit Sharma. I'm third year semester. How I chose law was initially I was targeted by lawyers and their attire. As me being an introvert person, very,
I'm afraid I'm not
scared to
hearing.
speak from my don't.
I think that you're breaking up a
Hello,
lot.
ma'am.
It's hard to understand. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can't hear you. I'm sorry. We'll have to get back to you at another time when when it's working better, because I can't hear. But I will note that you did try today. Okay, anybody else? Good. We don't have much time left. I'm going to say let's have a 5-minute break so you can stand up and stretch or go to the bathroom, whatever you need, but really come back in 5 minutes. And then we're going to do a PowerPoint on the best kind of rules or ideas you can have to give a good presentation. This is an important PowerPoint. So we need to look at it, talk about it, and I'm going to give it to you after the class is over so that you can review it and think about it as you prepare your next presentations. You can look through that and see what it is you need to think about. So 5 minutes. It's by my clock, it's 7 at, well, your hours are all different than mine. 5 minutes.
Now, madam, may I share the screen of that public speaking? You are mute. You are mute.
Please.
Okay. Madam, screen is visible?
Yes, visible.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam, wait, maybe.
Wait, give them another couple of minutes.
Yeah, they have not yet joined.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
All of you, please join and put your camera on. Please put your camera on so we can start.
You just let me know when there's enough there. I can't see.
Yeah, but they have not opened yet camera. Please open your camera so we can start. Judge Mail is waiting for all of you. Please start your camera fast. Aditya Sharma, please put your camera on. Now, madam, we can start.
Okay, welcome back. I hope you're all there. We're going to go through this fairly quickly because of the time, but you're going to receive it. We're going to send it to you today, and you'll be able to review it. And if you have more questions, we can talk about that at the next class as well. But next screen. Basically, there's nothing easy about it. That's kind of a joke. It's public speaking made easy. It's not easy. It's hard, but it's worth all the effort. Because if you want to be an effective speaker means people understand you. They want to listen to you. They're engaged listening to you. You have their attention. And now you can mold what they think of your position by speaking with them freely. Communication back and forth. It's the communication, not just throw something against the wall and if it sticks, people get it. If they don't, that's not my problem. It is your problem. You need to be effective. They have to listen and they have to agree with you, at least to some degree. That's what you're trying to do, is be persuasive, not just say something, be persuasive. So if you're giving a speech, you're giving a class, you're giving a closing argument, whatever the situation is, you have to be organized. It can't be just free form and whatever comes into my head. And I may have said this 3 times already. You lose your audience immediately if you don't have control over what you're saying. But first, to do that, you have to control your anxiety. One person talked about anxiety. I think everybody felt some anxiety today. It's a normal thing. And in fact, if you don't feel anxious when you're giving a speech, there's something wrong. You're taking it too lightly. You're not invested in what you're saying and the importance of what you're saying. We call it, just winging it, or, it's just not good enough. If you want people to listen to you, you have to get their attention and you have to maintain that attention. And it's the way you use your voice, the way you present the content, your posture, your tone of voice, your expression. If you're reading from something, you've lost the audience immediately. You can't read, and I'm not saying you have to memorize everything. You just have to understand what you're going to say. You can have a paper in front of you that says the 4 things that you need to make very clear to this audience. You don't have to have it written out because you know your material. So you're prepared in advance. And my experience is the more prepared you are, the calmer you are. You don't need to take notes on this because I'm going to give these to you. So just listen. Then, and a very important thing in any speech, any presentation, is to breathe. Now, I mean, this is just me, but you folks talk really fast. Everybody talks really fast. So that is probably, a cultural norm, and people are expecting that. But one of the problems about talking really fast is that you start to just make a monotone and it goes, and people don't know where the sentence begins, where the thought changes, what's more important than something else. The manner in which you present helps people understand what you're saying. And if it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes, and there's no pause and there's no breath, you lose people a lot. So give them a chance to listen to you, hear what you're saying, take it in, actually, spin it around their brain a little bit before you race ahead to the next 16 things you want to say, because they can't keep up with you that fast. Listening and speaking are on 2 different wavelengths. Listening takes a little reflection. So if you can give them a little moment to breathe, and you breathe, you'll be more organized. And generally, when we start going really fast, it's often about anxiety. but it's also, I think, just normal in India. But it is also anxiety. So don't cover up your anxiety by trying to fill every single space while you're talking. People need pauses. So you want to control your anxiety, be prepared, right? Relax and breathe. A lot of times people will forget, what was I going to say next? And they get very panicked. Just take a deep breath, and 9 times out of 10, you'll remember exactly where you were in your speech and where you're going. You need oxygen to your brain to be a clear speaker. Don't shut off the brain. Don't shut off the oxygen. Next, please. So in terms of a legal presentation, we'll look at it from a case presentation, but all these rules apply to any presentation. You need to know what you're talking about from the top, the bottom, and from all sides. If this is a controversial issue, and certainly in a closing argument, it's always a controversial issue. There's a person or people on the other side that have very strong opinions against, that are opposing yours. So you need to understand where they're going to come from so that you're prepared. You can't just walk out and say, this is a great idea, without analyzing how other people are going to look at that idea. So you're prepared for the judge's questions, for the attacks or objections from other people in the court hearing. You have to know the relevant facts and law, know what you're trying to accomplish, and lead the court to the end you seek, or the audience, the client, whoever you're presenting to. I've heard people come into court and say, Judge, these are the 3 things you have to know about this case. And after a half an hour, I don't know what they are. I still don't know what those 3 things are, because they're not organizing themselves for me. And if they want me to follow what they're doing, I have to at least follow it. I have to understand what they're saying. I may not agree, but if I can't understand what they're trying to say, their opportunity to influence me is just about nil. Next slide, please. So think about it as a simple body. You don't have to be terribly clever in all your presentations. You want to introduce who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. And look people in the eye as you speak. It's hard on a computer, but if you look at people, they look back at you, you've got some connection there. You want to work with that connection and not lose it. Engage the audience. The body of what you're talking about is very important. It needs to be organized. You don't need to say it 5 times. You just need to say it well. And then you summarize what you've accomplished here and what you've given the judge or the board of a business or any group that you're talking to. Make it clear from beginning to end who you are, what you're doing, and let them have a presentation organized in a way that they can take it in and discuss it with you if necessary. Next screen. In a trial or in a lecture, you do want to be clear about what your theme is, what you're trying to say, and consistently follow that theme, especially in a trial. If you have a theory of your defense or a theory of your prosecution, that helps people take in a lot of information because they have a path to see where all these segments of the trial are supposed to fit into. So that theme that you present at the beginning should follow through to all the way to the end. Next. Next slide, please. Good. So you need an outline. This is how you get off the, just stream of consciousness talking. Outline what you want. You have an opening to that outline. You have points underneath each of the main points. You have subpoints, and then you have a conclusion. It's a simple formula, but it's very, very consistent with the way our brains work and how we want to take in information. And you can get very creative and go off on themes, but I may not get the big picture that you're trying to give me. And you always have a limited amount of time to talk. The longer you talk, the more likely you're going to lose people. Basically, in a situation where all you do is talk, you're lucky if you get 20% of the people in the room to retain what you have just said. Talking to an audience that has nothing to do with what I'm saying and I'm not engaging with them, it's going to be lower than 20%. If you talk to them and you give them a chance to see something, a PowerPoint, a demonstration, a slide, anything at all, that makes their ability to receive what you're saying go up to about, in most studies, about 32%. If they're hearing and they're seeing something, you're engaging more of their senses. The more senses engaged, the more retention. If they hear something, see something, and they have an opportunity to engage with you and discuss, ask questions, debate, the retention goes all the way up to 70%. And if you add more, if you have hearing, sight, discussion, and they get to practice something, a skill building exercise like we do in this class, the retention can go up to 90. So we have to follow what they need. They need their senses to be engaged, and they need you to be engaged with them. Next slide. Read and work at a pace and an emphasis of delivery. Think about how comfortable you are if somebody's talking really, really fast at you and it's something that's new to you and something that's hard to take in, or something that may conflict with your basic goals or your basic understanding or your opinion. If you want people to change their opinion, you can't just throw it at them. You need to give them time to reflect and think about what you're saying. So you don't want to read it. You want to be where they can see your face and see your expression and see what you're saying. As soon as you put your head down, their head goes to what's for lunch? What am I doing later? Can I pull out my phone? You need to engage and keep them looking at you. If you're familiar with the content, you won't have to memorize it. This is your case. You've been working on this for a long time. This is a position that you're taking on the law. You've worked on this for a long time. You don't need to have it all written down. In a trial situation, it's one of the worst things you can do. As you look down, you lose the judge, you lose the witness, you lose everything. You need to stay engaged with what's happening in the trial. And the best way to do this is to practice anything you have to give, any statement you have to make, any opening, any closing, any delivery, and practice it with friends and family. Practice it on, film yourself on your own computer and you look at yourself and see how you're doing. The practice and review of seeing yourself is invaluable. Next slide. You want your delivery to be relaxed and natural. I mean, it doesn't mean that you are actually relaxed and natural. It just means you need to look that way. You have to kind of cover your anxiety to some degree and breathe, breathe, breathe. Try and avoid things like, or all those draggy little sounds that we put in the middle of sentences. Those are stutters of the brain. You're maybe going too fast, and so your brain is stuttering to give it a second to adjust and see where I'm supposed to be. And when you have those stutters, you lose the people listening to you. Early on, when I was a district attorney, I would sit there and make a list of how many times the attorney said, in their closing argument. And I'd tell them afterwards, sometimes it was 20, 30, 40 times they said, and it was just hard to listen because you get so attracted to hearing that sound or upset by hearing that sound. Does your voice project authority? If you're trying to show that this is an important issue, you need to show that it's important in your body language. You can't be looking at the floor, looking at the ceiling, scratching your head. Your voice and your body are not showing authority. And you need to have the authority of what you're saying in order to keep them engaged with you. Too fast or too slow is something you have to gauge. If you're going too fast for your brain, it's definitely too fast for the brains that are trying to listen to you. Too slow is like, did he go to sleep? Is he going to say anything? People start wondering what's going on. But pace is important. Pace has to be a pace that they can understand and take in and be able to engage with. If there are words that are difficult for you, words because you're trying a case about a sexual assault and you have to talk about what happened to this person bodily, and you can't because it's very embarrassing to you. I mean, there's things like that. You have to practice it. You have to practice it. It's not going to come out as natural. And if it doesn't come out as natural, it's going to come out as awkward, and that may not help your prosecution. If you're just saying a word that's long and hard to say, maybe you can switch for an easier word so that you don't stumble over that one. If you want that word because it's interesting or whatever reason, then practice it. Avoid a monotone. I want to tell you this because this is important, and this is why I'm telling you this, and I've told you before and you didn't listen to me before. I want you to listen now. Nobody hears what you're saying anymore. It's just a monotone that goes on, and it doesn't have any substance or any effect on people other than maybe to kind of think that you're wasting their time. Strategic pauses can be very effective. You want people to think about something that's very important and maybe not easy for them to think about, not easy for them to consider. Give them some moments to let this sink in. Don't just race past a hard segment of what you're saying. Give a pause. It can be very, very effective. Next slide, please. Body and delivery. Your mouth is not the only delivery system. Your body, your language, your face, the messages that you convey through your whether you're smiling or looking sad or just looking bored, your eyes, your facial expressions, all of these things are very important. A very good speaker manages to engage, have eye contact constantly, not with the wall, not with the window. We've all seen speakers and teachers in our life that just look at the book or look at the floor or look at their feet, or even I've had people turn their chair away and look at the wall while they're talking. That's not helping. Your body language says, this isn't very important. I'm bored. You should be too. Align your face and your feelings with the message you're trying to create. If it's a sad message, don't be smiling. If it's a difficult, important thing, don't look like you're bored. Try and align your face with what you're trying to convey. It's good to use your hands if you're comfortable with it. But a lot of people, their hands are just like, they're just flying around, and it just makes people dizzy when they're watching them. You don't want to put your hand over your mouth because then they can't hear you and you look like you're hiding. You don't want to hide behind a podium if it's a non-remote area that you're talking. You want to show your body, come out from behind the podium, be a real person, don't hide. Use natural gestures that are natural to you to emphasize a point, but don't try and just use your hands because they don't know what they're supposed to be doing right now. You don't want to cross your arms across your chest and hold yourself tight, because that gives an impression that you're not open to these people, that you are hiding. You want to look like a professional. You want to stand in a posture that is tall and straight. It gives you credibility. It lets people give your thoughts and your message a chance because you look like you know what you're doing. Next slide. Practice, 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 practice. Visualize it, do it in the mirror, have people look for you. This is the way you get better, and you get better every single time. I'm going to move on fast because we're late, so next slide. If you do these things, I can promise you'll get better. I've never seen anybody get worse. Everybody gets better. And it's a great skill no matter what you go into in law. Now, there was another PowerPoint. We're not going to do it today because we don't have enough time. We'll send both of these PowerPoints to you today, so you'll have them to review. You have homework. What I want you to do is I want you to watch TED Talks. I'm sure you've all seen some version of TED Talks. And they are some of them exceptional, most of them pretty darn good. I haven't seen real bad ones. They teach people how to be succinct, effective, engaging. This is what you want. This is how you persuade people to your side, to your position, is to be all of those things. So to be effective and to be engaging, watch at least 6 TED Talks. Then I want you to give me just a little sheet of what you saw and what you thought of each one. That's just a small sheet so that we know what they are and the link if anybody else wants to see them. But you're going to give a talk on one particular talk to us, to the group. And in that talk, you're going to talk about why this was the one that had the most impact on you. Was it the posture? Was it the content? Was it the way the person presented the information? And you're going to give a talk, and I'll see how much time. I allotted 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes, for you to talk about the content and the presentation and why it taught you something about talking. Okay? And I think, yeah, we'll discuss that.
So there seems to be an issue at Judge Mel's end.
Please wait for a minute, and then we will. I have sent a mail to her. Let's wait what she responds. Okay, I think she's not responding. So the task is given to you, so please follow that, and we will meet again on next Saturday. The link will be sent to you. Today, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. So today I'm going to share two PowerPoint presentation. One of that which you had already seen, and another that is with me. So I'm going to share two PowerPoint presentation to all of you today, and then the task is given to you. Please do that task, and we will meet again next Saturday. Okay. So okay, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy. And please keep your camera on. That I've seen lots of students have not keep their camera on. Next time, please see to that. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Correcto, lo negate.